In this video, we are going to talk about some things that may feel a little confronting. So please go gently on yourself, go gently with us as you're listening. I certainly found this quite difficult, this concept, but actually it made a lot of sense and explained a lot to me about why I was struggling. And that was, I hadn't really realised that I had some growing up to do. Once I became a mother, it became very clear to me that I was often trying to blame other people or blame situations or blame my partner for how I was feeling or blame my children. And it was quite a revelation for me to realise that that was actually me being a victim to life. And it was quite a revelation for me to realise there was another way to be, which we call being sovereign. That might be a strange word to you, but it can also be about being fully adult, taking full responsibility for ourselves, our lives, our feelings. And the reason I said that was confronting to me is because there was a part of me that really didn't want to take full responsibility. That actually was quite happy in my victim mindset, blaming mindset, that when things felt hard, I could just throw my pain body at my husband or, try and take it out on the kitchen drawer or like my anger, my upset. And it was something I almost didn't want to give up, my victim mindset, which might sound so bizarre and illogical, but it was logical to me because it felt like an easier way to be than the taking full responsibility, the taking ownership for my feelings and my decisions and not expecting anyone to come and rescue me. And if I may liken this to being a child, obviously when we're a child, we do expect someone to come and rescue us when we need it. That's totally rightful that we don't have to take full responsibility when we're children. We shouldn't have to. And bless the children that have had to take on responsibility that they shouldn't have had to when they were younger. But in an ideal world, children shouldn't have to take full responsibility. And yet, as we become adult, fully adult, it becomes really important to step into the role of being an adult and to leave behind our childlike ways of looking to other people to come and rescue us and care for us and look after us. Of course, people can still do those things for us as adults, but to expect others to do it all and us not to have to, that's the source of where a lot of my own suffering was coming from. I wonder, Janet, if you can speak into that from your experience.
Well, I think it's really important to say that how it comes about and how it feels will be different in each person. We can see that time and time again. But it is important to remember that those behaviours that Kate refers to, like for me, what was occurring was throwing my toys out of my pram, which is what I used to do to my husband all the time, being very honest, and actually almost do it at my children a little bit. But those behaviours, and the reason that we don't necessarily want to do it another way, is that those behaviours have kept us safe, even though they don't feel good. We just got to keep coming back to that. There was a reason for them. So the fact that you didn't want to become more adult, it is actually logical because it keeps us safer. And the more courageous invitation always is, but it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Could I be willing? Could I get curious to take a look at living from another place? And as Kate said, there will be some reparenting to be done of ourselves. There will be some holding of ourselves that we might not have done before. There will be some growing up of ourselves because we're taking full responsibility for all parts of ourselves. So it sounds really scary. And, Kate, we both know through ourselves, through the work that we do, it's life-changing, as in internal life-changing.
Yeah, and there's a freedom and a sense of empowerment. I'm trying to think what other words it feels like. Freedom's the best way to explain it, because I think I didn't realise how living the way I was, expecting other people to make me feel a certain way, is quite a conditional way to live. Because then if circumstances outside of me, like my children or my partner or the weather or the house I'm living in or whatever, isn't right, then I can't feel right. I'm trying to sort of speak in quite, black and white terms here, but just to give some examples. And what I discovered as I stopped living from that kind of external circumstances kind of control me, and I'm a victim to whatever life throws at me. And when I started to take more of those sovereign reins and say, okay, how do I want to feel in my life, and how do I want to create my life from the inside out, from what feels good to me, that was a very different energy. Somehow that was a more energized way to live. That's what eventually made me decide to, like you say, find the courage to do that very honest work of, okay, where actually am I still behaving like a bit of a child here because I feel unsafe? How can I bring safety within myself so that I don't need to have out there be a certain way to make me feel safe? It's a big paradigm shift.
Yeah.
But as you say, it was helpful to start to see, gosh, it could feel and look like this if I do that, what I saw as work, and make the effort to create that internal safety.
Yeah. And, I love the way you thought about the energy, because I was just used to be so tired all the time. When we're living in victim, when we're living, which is really like constricting, we're in fear, we're worried, what's going to happen? When we're living from that perspective, or that paradigm, as Kate says, when it looks like that outside of me is creating my anxiety and my stress, that is exhausting. And you're right, it's kind of almost like freedom and energy would be the most important words that I would use. By knowing that I can be responsible for myself fully, with love. And it doesn't mean that I don't have my family and I don't have my life, but there's just something changing inside of me that feels more ease and grace.
And like, just as you're saying, it's not like taking responsibility for ourselves means that we then become this isolated island. I find that actually I have more capacity to be present and to meet others, like my children, my partner, to give myself to them unconditionally, but from such a filled up place.
Yeah.
It's enriched my relationships because it's got rid of all the stuff that was in the way of those relationships just being really whole and pure, rather than how are they going to be today? Am I going to be able to cope? I wish my husband would just say this thing. Or there was a lot of wishing that things were different than they are.
Yes. That's a good word. I love that, because that could be a really good sign. And we need those kind of signs and those clues that actually we are struggling more than we might think we are, by wishing things would be different. I see and experience that in women all the time. Well, you just don't understand. You see, I just need this to change. I just need this to happen. When the holiday happens, then it will be okay. It's like wishful future thinking. And by the way, having a holiday is a great idea. I'm not saying we shouldn't go on holiday. But those can be really amazing clues to the fact that you're putting your feelings in the future rather than now.
Yes, the word coming up is agitated. I remember feeling very agitated a lot of the time that it was when we were living in a particular country. The house we were living in wasn't right. If just the house could be as I wish it would be, then it would all be fine. It's just like the holiday idea. It's sort of future thinking, and actually, as you say, it's pointing
Sneaky.
it's pointing to something within that wants to be attended to. Actually, not something without.
Yeah, the within. It's pointing within. Yeah, yeah, deeper. And the other thing that I want to presence, you mentioned being filled up and nourished so that you can be present and loving with your children. What Kate is referring to isn't a lot of self-care to fill her up. And I think that's so important. Again, another sort of clue is I need more self-care. I need more space. And actually, there are instances where that could be a really good idea again. But what is this difference, Kate, in you and our women between this idea of I need self-care and then I'll be filled up and then it'll be okay? And it's that same future thinking. And then we go for the massage, for example, and then actually half an hour later, everything else is still the same, for example. Or maybe it might be an hour or a couple like that. And again, talking about what you were saying, where you feel full up, your cups are overfull through nourishment, compared to that kind of I just need a massage, I just need this treatment type idea.
I think as humans we're all actually naturally very energized, but the wishing things were different, the analysis, the judgment, the labeling, all the things we do to try to keep ourselves feeling safe is extremely draining and extremely energy consuming. And when I speak about being filled up and nourished, it's not like that's coming from something into me.
Yeah.
It's almost like all the stuff's been moved away that was stopping my natural energy being there, my natural presence, my natural sense of being filled up. Just like my life force is more free to move within me. That's how it feels. You know, you feel more alive.
Yeah.
And just to say, we all have different energy levels.
Yes.
You know, mine is quite big and rah. It doesn't have to be like that in everybody, but I think we all know what it feels like when something within us feels depressed, like when our energy is depressed or our emotions are in some way depressed. And what we're offering on this path that feels like such a deep gift we want to bring to women is that experience of what life feels like when our natural, and it's different for us all, but our natural energy, our natural way of being can be here without condition or without pressure or without masks. We can just be here.
Such freedom from that rather than life looking a certain way, etc.